Still do 7 NUFC Matters shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications options. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.
Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. When it came to me after so long, I didn't have no choices in the streets where I was from. When I think about the pain, I didn't have no choices. I took what I had sworn. Hush now, city kids, gather round for urban myths. Hush now, city kids. But you know, they wouldn't let you have it any other way. Stepping back from what you lack, the past just pulls you back in again. Save me from myself, it just carries on. Just carries on.
Good evening, welcome along to NUFC Matters. It is the Fans Forum, Monday the 24th of November, and Newcastle United, of course, getting a wonderful win at the weekend against Manchester City by 2-1. Harvey Barnes strikes the difference, and Haaland still waiting for that 100th goal that everyone thought he might get at the weekend. Not many people predicted a Newcastle win on the Fans Forum, and not many people predicted it on NUFC Matters full stop. But I think we all enjoyed being proved wrong on this occasion. Darren, for the first time in a long time, I don't think you're going to have to be negative on this particular show, because there's nothing to be negative about when you beat Manchester City by 2-1 at home.
You can't see, as I say, I'm still on cloud nine, you know, how we played. We turned up, we gave a game. We had a few, we should have scored in the first 20 seconds. And they possibly should have scored after us when Pope's in no man's land, but Holland went wide. But Voldemort had about 3 or 4 good chances. He should have scored. But their keeper's a good world-class keeper, so I'll give him a little bit of respect. But we matched him. But again, I think it was a dubious penalty. We got away with it there. That's the other way around. We will win a penalty for it, to be fair. That's if you don't say no, there's something wrong with you. But we got away with that one. That's my honest opinion. But we won. The best team won in the day. We deserved to win it. We battled and how got his tactics right. The last 10 minutes we're back against the wall. So they played a farther back 4 and 1 up front. And City was left to right. They couldn't break us down. They relied too much on Haaland, don't they? So they couldn't get a. They couldn't do nothing in the last 10 minutes. So on a positive thing, you can say, great. Lewis Hall again, and Tino Livramento between the choose between the both who's man of the match. That's why, to me, Dan Burn doesn't get the team next Saturday. I could accept Dan Burn playing tomorrow in a 5 at the back, but next Saturday, Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento must be in that starting team up. See with the same 2 centre halves who's played up. So, and if Eddie Howe plays Dan Burn, I'm sorry, Eddie Howe's bottled it. He can't drop his pal Dan Burn. I don't want to talk about later on, but Tito and Hall look good. Went over a bit cram because he's already played, but he had a good game, and Tino had a good game, and everybody had a good. I say you kind of say no one played not well because everybody got 8 to 9 ratings all day. You know what I mean? Like I'll even give Nick Porpoise. I'll give him a 6 or a 7. But no, good performance team all around. You kind of, but not be negative, can you? To be fair, so
no,
positivity off me tonight, Steve. And that's a rarity, you know, and you're not off me.
Yeah, no, certainly the case. 2 great goals from Harvey Bonds, winning the match at the weekend. Just want to say thank you as well, because I may well forget later on. Thanks to everybody who came along and supported the Warren Barton Christmas party on the weekend. I know some of you can make it, others can't, but a grand total was raised on the night of £500. I've transferred that over to Age UK North Tyneside today, and they are delighted with it. So a cracking night. Warren was great. Thank you to Joe Allen, to Adam Henderson, to Sid Stobart for all giving up their time for free as well. Sid was DJing, great, some great tunes he played on the night. Adam Henderson as well, a wonderful solo set, and everyone who came along and backed the raffle, great, and some wonderful prizes handed out, courtesy of Rob from Talk of the Tune as well. He purchased quite a few Newcastle shirts and just said to may give them away in the raffle, and that's what we've raised, £500. So thank you to everybody who came along, much appreciated. And of course, our next charity event for Age UK will be bringing in the new year, 23rd of January, Super Mac and Gibbo. Tickets are £19 on voucher. Get yourself along to that one if you can. All proceeds again going to Age UK North Tyneside Dementia. George, you were there, and you're sporting a rather canny little black and white number, which you actually won in the raffle.
I did indeed, and I'm wearing it now because in a couple of weeks' time it'll be buggering off to Dubai. I'll never see it again. So I thought I'd better wear it today to let everybody see it. Yeah, Friday was brilliant and enjoyable to see everybody as usual, but it had a more personal thing for me because I hadn't realised that one of the things that the lady did with the money was to use a minibus at a centre in Wallsend that my Marjorie used to go to for 2 years. And I can tell you, she only went 2 mornings a week, but that was like giving me a fortnight's holiday, I can tell you. When you're locked together for 7 days a week with nobody able to come because of COVID, etc., that place was heaven to me. So I'm happy to give them all that they wanted. So fantastic. It just added icing to the cake. And you're right, Steve, all the performers were absolutely top notch. So right, the match. When it gets to 10-7, stop us, Steve, just in case. No, seriously. I'm gonna go. I don't think I'm gonna go overboard. On Saturday, I watched what I felt one of the best Premier League matches I've seen. And that's saying something. Why? Because 2 teams went for it. 2 teams wanted to win. 2 teams played some brilliant football. There was some brilliant goalkeeping, some brilliant defending, some clever attacking, really scintillating play. And we got the best of it. I mean, that really was incredible. I was sitting with Steve Hasty and we were sort of comparing it like in first off, like a chess match, watching how Manchester City build right from their own byline, from the goalkeeper. In every phase of the play, they move an extra 10 yards forward, 10 yards forward. Then they get into our half and they're hoping for us to do something daft. Well, we did a couple of times, but most of the times we held the pattern. We didn't do the silly things that Kevin often talks about, leave a big hole and let them pass our midfield by. And everybody just did their bit. And didn't we learn how important those 2 fullbacks are to her? It's a different team when they're in the team. There's no question about it. And that's so important. So, you could go through the team and see all the things that they did. But what was for me outstanding is, having said it was like a chess match. Well, the master was pressing, but the pupil won, which was Eddie. I mean, it just was unbelievable how he did things right this time, and it wasn't. I mean, Haaland didn't get a goal, and he often doesn't against us. But if you remember the dark days when Rafa was the manager and we used to park the buses, people used to call it, no parking the buses on Saturday. It was sheer football, and even when we changed it up because of Hall's cramp, which was understandable, and Saturday, what then emerged was a tactical tour de force to keep them out and allow us to press on the break, and it was just outstanding. And you could go through the team to say who did what. I'm going to mention Valdemar. Darren's right. Valdemar could have, on another day he would have had a hat trick, and even then he still had time at the other end to get a cushioned header onto the bar for Barnes to score the second goal. But what was more important was he was in the game a lot more. Yeah. And then, of course, at the post-match interview, Eddie Howe revealed why. That although Valdemar was in Germany, they'd spent the few days coaching the other lads on the field to play to Valdemar's style. And I've been saying on here, I have, lads. I hope Eddie watches the videos of what Germany do for Valdemar, and John Gibson did as well. And I hope Eddie watches what Italy does for Tonali. Well, he answered the question. He did. They do watch it, and they did set up. Even though Valdemar wasn't there at Benton, they used the other players to play in a fashion which would help him. And it showed on Saturday, in my opinion. He was much more like a centre forward than and much more dangerous. Could easily have had a hat trick on another day, as Barnes could have done. And Tarrant's right. I mean, to get an open goal in the first 20 seconds is a dream. Well, it didn't happen, but we can't have everything, sadly, even though I'm a greedy little duck. It was just brilliant. It was just brilliant. And really glad to say I was there, because it'll be a long time since till we see a better match than that between two teams really wanting to win, really going for it. And I'm interested in Pep Guardiola's apology today for his outbursts at half-time and at full-time. And I thought, well, that's class, because the only thing he was upset about was the loss. He Eddie Howe got one over him for a change. And yes, he was going to be angry about that, and he did. I think they were close to getting an eruption off Joe Linton, because he had to be taken off the pitch by security people. He was after somebody. No, it was just great. The midfield were the usual outstanding self, and Barnes was scintillating, and our friend Jacob Murphy. The crosses that went in, wow! I mean, we should.
World class.
Absolutely, and as I said, Valdemar was getting on the end of quite a few of them, and that really made the whole thing work, if you like. I wasn't. Yes, I am. I would player of the match for me, and I've got to give him it for a variety of reasons. Was Bruno. There were lots of good play in midfield from Tonali and others, but from minute 0 to minute 90, Bruno was an engine. He never stopped driving the team, never stopped driving the crowd, and he's learned to use the waving the hands bit. I always say that no good waving your hands when we're losing, Bonnie lad. Wave it when we've got the ball in the back of the net, and that's what he did on Saturday. So. As you gather, I'm absolutely elated. And as I've put on me heading, delighted, delusional, George. There's no question about it. Couldn't be better. Couldn't be better. So I'll leave it at that, Steve. Otherwise, you've got us till 7 o'clock.
Good stuff. Alan, I mean, I heard you chatting in the green room while I was getting prepared for the show. saying you're delighted to be proved wrong. I think we all are, because it's 3 much needed points in the bag, 6 home wins, 6 great performances as well at home, to get points in the bag. It's keeping our season up, because our away form hasn't been good, which we'll come to in the second half of the show. But listen, a great performance, mate, a great result, 2 great goals for Harvey Barnes, a wonderful performance from the whole team, really.
It was, Steve, and I can only copy and paste what Darren and George had said. That Malik Chow just gets better and better, lads, doesn't he?
Absolutely.
I mean, for stopping the Haaland, we're only the 3rd team to stop him this season, or 3rd or 4th, and the tackle he made in the second half was just absolutely brilliant to stop a goal. Fullbacks, like I said, against Brentford, lads. Fullbacks come in, young Lewis Hall, Tino, what a difference. And thankfully we've got Wiss at the comeback. So I would ask the question to the lads in the chat on the panel, would you bring Gordon back instead of Harvey Barnes? Because the facts show that Harvey Barnes scores goals and Gordon hasn't, and assists. So there's a question for everybody to answer in the chat and in the program. But over the moon, Steve, I didn't see it coming. I thought best a 1-1 draw, and that was with my heart, not my head. The whole place, played well. The whole team played well. Fantastic. I mean, I agree what Darren says about the penalty incident with Foden, but when you look at it on the TV, when you look at it from the referee's point of view, he didn't see Shaw hit Foden. And I think Voss turned around and they had the discussion saying, what did you see? I don't think it was a penalty. And Voss thought, well, I can't overturn it. And I think that's why it wasn't given a penalty. Because I think we did get away with that one. I know they were complaining about the handball with Chow, but I thought that was nonsense. And Donnarumma complaining, well, I've seen 5-year-olds push a 6'7" guy over more than that.
That was shocking, that wasn't it?
Crying over spilt milk, Darren. Really was. Overall, lads, great performance. But I was going to touch on it, Steve, but I'll leave it to the second half of the show so Jeff can get on. But over the moon. But waveform's got to improve now. But I'll leave it at that, Steve. Over the moon. I'm so pleased to be proven wrong. Long may it continue.
Jeff, great result against Manchester City. Eddie Howe's first competitive win against Manchester City as well for any club.
Yes. Well, there was something interesting tactically that I noticed that I've seen him use before. Now, Bruno was always between the ball and that big Norwegian. When the ball's in the middle of the field, Bruno's between him and the ball, so they can't get a through ball. All the time he's there, right? And that frees up Tonali, who should be the defensive player, to rove around doing his thing. It was fantastic. Yes, well, other observations. The referee was called Barrett, and I thought he might arrive in a helicopter, but that was a bit of a shame. And on the subject of Norway, can we ask the King of Norway to get to Darren a Christmas tree? Right. Barnes, very good, eh? Very good for a player named after a bridge, I think, anyway. And both him and Valderrama were in they may have missed a few, but they're in the right place. That's the whole point. They're getting they're actually in a position to score, even if they miss. At least they're getting there, right? NBC, some highlights on NBC where they referred to Joe Ellington, which is a new player that we recruited. As for Doku, well, he waddles like a duck, which is why he's called Doku, and he slides around like Bambi on ice. I really wasn't impressive. And the only negative was the cricket. Oh, never mind the cricket. Yes. Anyway, we had to put up with watching Pep being in conference with the fourth official with, how are we winning? What's going wrong here? Can't you talk to someone at the FA? And well done, Forest. They battered Liverpool. Yes. Poor Arnie Snot. Van Dijk was practically in tears. Oh. I've got a bit of penchant for reaction shows. The top teams are the best. They get physically sick when people score against them. They just throw themselves around like it's the end of the world. Like someone's hit them with a taser. They really are insane. Yes, and my man of the match, I think I'm going to go for Chow because everyone else is going to go for something because he's just everywhere. The number of things he's blocked is just ridiculous. I've never seen it. You know, we were talking about good defenders. I've never seen one like that. He is a phenomenon. And 8 minutes added on for them to win, ridiculous. Right. Yes.
It took 4 minutes for Varro, didn't it?
And just a quick note that George got the prediction right exactly.
Yeah.
Alois got it right exactly. Kev said we'd be smashed. Alan said 2-1, 3-1, 1-1 maybe. Magnus said it would be 3-2 to us, obviously. Pablo thought it'd be 1-1, and Adam thought it'd be 3-3. And I thought it'd be 3-0, and I was ever so disappointed when they scored. All right, and that's it.
Where's Rex?
Rex? There you are.
Rex is happy, Jeff.
Yeah, he's doing
Rex is happy.
Rex
Good
is very
stuff. Very good. Excellent stuff. And I predicted a 2-1 defeat for Newcastle, so I was completely wrong as well. Barry, good evening. Are you with us? Yes, you are. You might be slightly behind. He's gone. Al-Walid.
behind the door.
Yes, good result against Manchester City in the Oil Derby, Al-Walid.
Okay, I did like to call it that, but it's a Gulf Derby.
Gulf Derby, that's correct.
Yeah. Great game. We are every media in Saudi Arabia talking about the sport when about even at the sport when it was really a good effect because a lot apparently didn't see it coming. As Jeff says, I expect that because when you watch Newcastle day by day and every game, you can understand the players, the team, the idea how. I said last week, if Newcastle play 100%, they will win, and that's what happened. They play 100%. The problem is it's hard to play 100% every game, especially with not much choices, maybe, on the bench. Few choices, not that we still didn't have that look-alike. There's a kind of difference with some player or lack of experience, but hopefully this will need for other 2 or 3 maybe more transfer window. The all players are good, but the second goal of Barnes make me choice for him for being the man of the match because it was really great goal. He's not maybe striker or number 9, but the way he handled the ball, it was difficult. And even the best striker in the world, it will be hard for him to score. And it come after a draw. The goal of a lot of people when Manchester City draw, they think they will come back. But that goal, it was like the last nail of the coffin. They really killed it. And I like how Eddie Howe and the team performs against big teams. Some of moments against Liverpool at the first game of the league. It was also Arsenal when we beat Arsenal last season. We play a similar way of this counter attack. It's a really great game. We are very happy, and hopefully this will continue tomorrow.
Yes, fingers crossed. Kev, some interesting tactics from Eddie Howe. Obviously brought Fabian Shaw back in. I think probably one thing I did get right last week was that he would bring Shaw back in because of his record against Haaland. Haaland, of course, never scored against Fabian Shaw when he's been playing at centre half, or Jamal Lascelles, as it turns out. But interesting to see Tonali getting pushed further up the pitch as well for vast majorities of the game. Joe Linton, although at the stadium, to me, he looked fairly anonymous in the first half. When I watched it back on television, he was actually quite involved. Just shows you that your eyes can play tricks on you when you're at the ground. Certainly, in a more defensive position. And just the difference that 2 quick fullbacks makes as opposed to having Dan Burn on the left and Trippier on the right. It was a tactical masterclass from Eddie Howe, and one which I imagine he's very proud of, Kev.
He should be, and he figured it out. The questions were posed from Man City after our quick start, as we normally do after about 2-3 minutes. That's when Man City got a grip of the game for up until about half time for me. And yes, your eyes play tricks on you in the game, but it's what they do off the ball when they're in a defensive structure or defensive shape against that type of level of team, i.e. Joe Linton just sitting in and protecting Lewis Hall, which allows Lewis Hall, therefore, to create an overlap to help Harvey Barnes in an attacking sense, and Joe Linton then can therefore cover. Similarly, on the other side with Bruno and/or Tonali, more Tonali because he's got more of legs, more energy. Bruno will just sit in and agree with, I think it was George, whoever said it, with Jeff, I think, with cutting, the stopping the ball going forward, the linear pass, the straightforward pass. But if you look at it from from the first 25 minutes, their number 10 was getting in literally in the pocket constantly throughout that first half. And that was my biggest worry up until half time. We couldn't really figure out how to stop that initial forward pass. And like Darren said, as the game went on, they were just going side to side just based on our defensive structure and how the game was playing out. But what the bigger thing for me was, and I think the other lads on the professionals and whoever said it, was our physicality. I don't think Man City liked the physicality of what we brought. It was against likes the Liverpools, against likes of Arsenal's and other teams that we played against. I just think we overpowered them and they didn't like it and couldn't cope. Yes, they slowed the game down to make it what they want in terms of the possession base, the tiki-taka Barcelona style, which is fabulous to watch. I'm not going to lie. It's a great way. If they want to play it like that, they want to play like that. We're different. We play on the counter-attack. For me, Harvey Barnes' first 1 in 30 seconds should be going to the opposite way to the way the goalkeeper's diving. Voldemort, when he got played through, I thought it was even said on NBC, Jeff, that their fullback cut across him and slid, so he cut that angle out to have a shot in that saved the opposite corner, and he had to put it down to the keeper's right. So again, that was once those opportunities fell by the wayside, that was starting to creep in as a oh no, here we go type of mentality. But we didn't not hold on, but we got to half time and we made the tactical tweaks and changes that were necessary. And George is championing him. I think Lewis Hall is probably the left fullback we have in the country at the minute. The way technically in and around tight spaces and driving into midfield, defensively solid. But for me, I mean, we'll blow wind and whatever we'll say, Rolls Royce and this and that. I think this lads are even better than all of them put together, and that's Mark. I think he's if we can find another 35 million centre half of that caliber and quality, Steve Nixon, I tip your hat to you because you found an absolute gem there. The wonder what, and Alan spoke about that the challenge that he made, he didn't even leave his feet. That's defending 101. George could tell you that if you sent a full back centre half, he showed him outside on his alleged weaker foot, whatever. And it doesn't matter what Haaland, you can show him anywhere and he'll find a way to goal. But he showed him outside, he forced him away from goal and stopped. And it's pretty logical where if you force him away from goal, he's a bigger distance away from the thing. So, and it gives him a less opportunity to score. Plus, Erling Haaland driving at you. I thought Mark Chow was a bit worried when he seen that in a 1v1, but he dealt with that duel well. And his distribution, I think he's getting more comfortable and confident. And I'm just pleased for Harvey Barnes to get on the score sheet and get 2 goals and I think he's put a marker down now. Anthony Gordon, Alan, your comment, where does Gordon play? I don't think he does. No. I think he's got to earn it. I think he's got to produce the same or even more, which is a great thing to have. But elated with a win. Didn't expect it. Jeff said I thought we were going to get smashed, and I genuinely did. So the first 25 minutes were a bit worrisome, but after half time, I think once we got the first goal, we were settled into the game. Still done what we done. The physicality of the nature of what the game was meant to be like. And by the way, tip the hat to the referee. I thought he had a brilliant game. And in my opinion, I thought he let the game flow. I thought he let the game be what it was supposed to be. And so, little tip you had to him. And it's his second ever Premier League game or whatever it was. So, I mean, it's a pretty big one for your second one. But yeah, can't wait for tomorrow night. I guess we'll get on to that. But again, it's another big week in the shoes of Newcastle United fan.
Yeah, you're quite right with the referee. I mean, I've seen a lot of referees this season who first half have not made a booking, and then the second half not had the consistency, and then suddenly started being, card happy. And I think the cards you got right, and the big decisions. Ultimately, got the big decisions right, which is what referees should be judged on. We give referees a lot of stick on podcasts, and the media tend to give them a lot of stick as well. But yeah, fair play to the referee. It wasn't a bad game at all. Pablo, great result for Newcastle at the weekend. I guess it was enhanced as well the whole weekend. I mean, yeah, any cricket fans out there were a bit disappointed with the Ashes collapse, but I think Liverpool's demise continuing. And one Alexander Isak still not managing to score a goal, with Callum Wilson now 4 goals in front of him at West Ham, and the Sunderland juggernaut coming to a halt at Fulham as well. Probably just rounded the weekend off nicely, Pablo, didn't it?
Yeah, no, it has. It's been a fantastic weekend. I think it's really unfortunate what's happening at Liverpool with Alexander Isak. I really feel for him. Yeah, exactly.
Great acting, that, and the winner for best actor goes to Pablo.
Could have happened to a nicer guy, could it? And I love the fact that they're blaming it that he hasn't had a pre-season. Well, guess who's all right? But yeah, this Premier League, getting back to our result, this football thing's quite easy, isn't it? When you run around a little bit more and try a bit harder. And joking aside, there is a big thing to that, where I said I couldn't see us getting a victory at Man City. I would have been happy sat here now talking to you if we'd have come away from that game maybe on the back end of a 2-1 defeat, because the level of performance, where I keep harping on about this West Ham, Brentford and Brighton, the level of performance that we showed even without getting the win, I would have been happy with, because it was a massive improvement on what we've seen. And it's also, I wouldn't say what we come to expect, but this is where I think sometimes I get misconstrued for being negative. This is a nod to Denise and Moza, is the fact that I have such high standards for us, and that is born of what I know this team's capable, what I know that manager's capable of, and what I know we can do to teams when we get it right. So when I see us kind of falling short of that, I get frustrated, and that sometimes has come across as negative, but I'm absolutely elated we beat Man City. And I think every time Guardiola has a meltdown, that is like cannon fodder to me. I absolutely adore it. I think looking at the game, I'll annoy Denise when I say this. We were excellent. We were structured. We were resilient when we needed to be resilient. Do you know what? Yes, we missed a few chances. And if we play the hypothetical game of with Whistler up front, would they have gone in? No idea. You can't answer that. I think Man City were not at their potent best, like I've said in our chat. That being said, we nullified everything that they threw at us. I think the people you've mentioned, your Malik Chow, to me, just seems he is one cool customer, and anything that's thrown at him or any opponent that comes at him, i.e. Haaland, he seems to have a way of dealing with it. I think the back four, the way it's shaped up against Man City, that to me is the perfect structure of a back four, albeit Shah is 33, but you've got Chow there as a young man. Maybe Shah's just leaning on him, giving him that bit of experience and that bit more confidence. Shah does definitely have a massive influence on our team. I think, yes, he's got a mistake or two in him, but haven't we all? The midfield, that there, when you saw them 3 midfielders on Saturday take control of that midfield. Yes, they took a while to get to it and work out what Man City were doing with their side of things, but once they settled down and they got to it, there was only one midfield in that game. Harvey Barnes, for me, we know this is the frustrating thing. We know that's what he can do. And when he goes missing for a few games, it's like, oh, come on, son. But I think every one of the fan base wants him to do well. We want him to be that guy that he was on Saturday, Walter Mardy, missed a few chances, some cracking crosses by Murphy. Murphy had a good game for me. I know it's alien to Darren to say that, but for me, he had a good game, and he looked the guy that should be playing right wing. And I don't discredit Alanga coming on, because I think that added a new dynamic to us straight away. I was thinking, obviously, Walter is knackered, and it just adds that dynamic. Let's just go and get that ball for us, go and cause a bit of mayhem somewhere. And you know what? One might bounce off his arse and go in the net, and that might spiral him onto a good run of form. But I think you stole my thunder, Kevin, Steve. I actually really enjoyed that referee, that afternoon. And I said it in our chat early on. I like this guy because he seemed to let a game of football be a game of football. I mean, obviously VAR had its influence. And for me, being the cynicist, I was waiting for VAR to come up with some random excuse, why our goal was disallowed. But, I was absolutely buzzing. And for me, the one thing that I have noticed is we've highlighted the fullbacks are massive, and that was definitely highlighted against Man City. My worry is, being a worrier, if they are that important, if we have a season that doesn't quite meet expectations, do we then lose one or two of them fullbacks? Because the age-old thing of I want to play Champions League football, if that comes into play, I think as a recruitment team and a sporting director, I'd be looking at the next stage after that, because you've got to plan 2 or 3 transfers ahead in this day and age. We can't go and buy £100 million fullback, clearly. So for me, if I was at the club, I'd be thinking about next steps, because they are vitally important, as is proved. But yeah, absolutely buzzing, lads. Tomorrow, I'm sure we'll get onto tomorrow, and I hope it rolls on. I hope that's the performance that sparks us into what we were last season. Yeah.
Magnus, great game, wasn't it? Fantastic. How did you see it in Iceland?
Yeah, I mean, this was for me, it was an absolutely sensational performance collectively. And we like to be proven wrong when we are negative, but we also like to be proven correct when we're being positive against all odds. I know I said 3-2, but as the week went on, I said 1-2 or like 2-1 on the Icelandic pot. So I had to go back in time and listen to it to see if I was actually correct. But collectively, what a great performance. And as soon as I saw the starting lineup and that both Tino and Hall, I didn't know Tino was ready, and that was a great surprise. And I hadn't even thought of Chow and Shah together, but what a sensational pairing they had formed on the day. And I mean, this was a tactical masterclass. He kept changing the formation to adapt to the different parts of the game. I mean, I'd like to single out 3 players. I mean, for me, that Harvey Barnes didn't lose his head after first half. I love his cool and cool head and not letting it bother him. There will always be the next one, and he did exactly that. And scored these 2 sensational goals that were really, really important. So I give him a massive credit. I'd like to give Bruno a huge credit. What a captain's performance, and the fact that he managed to wind Pep Guardiola up so hugely, it's just music to my ears. It must mean you're doing something right. If he is fuming after the match. Who knows what he said to him? He didn't talk to Eddie Howe. He went straight to our captain, fuming, and I really would want to know what he said. So we've got to be doing something right if that is the case. And I am feeling very, very positive at the minute. If you look at the program, there's a lot of points to be won, and we can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good stuff, Magnus. Well said. And a lot of positivity as I expected tonight on the fans forum. I'll do the ads at the end of the show. Let's look ahead to tomorrow night's game now against Olympique Marseille. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff GMT time, 9 o'clock local time in France. Newcastle have got 3,000 tickets and some great photographs on social media. If you're on any of the platforms of various fans making their journeys on train, bus, car, you name it, everyone trying different ways to get there. But stay safe if you are out there and you are managing to tune into the show tonight, and have a great time and sing your hearts out for the lads tomorrow. Just a little reminder as well that if you are going in to the ground, that small power packs for mobiles can be taken in. something that's worth noting given that digital ticketing will be in use. And the post-match plan is the same in reverse, with fans returned to the Place de Gelée by metro following a holdback of an unspecified duration. That could be a little bit of a wait that you've got inside the stadium tomorrow. Anyway, team news. Eddie Howe did his press conference alongside Malik Chow and Anthony Gordon and Emil Kraft have travelled, but Kieran Trippier didn't, and Johan Wissa isn't available as yet. Dan Burn does return to the squad, though, after his one-match domestic suspension. In other news, Jamal Lascelles is unable to play due to a strange scenario where he wasn't selected for the A group, which means that he's not available to play. It's a competition rule as opposed to anything else. So no Jamal Lascelles either. 5 players are expected to be out for Marseille: Naif Aguerd, Amir Murillo, Facundo Medina, Hamed Traore and Amin Gouiri, all missing for Marseille. Former Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi's side have won just one of their 4 Champions League games to date, scoring 4 goals without reply at home to Ajax. They suffered defeat at Real Madrid by 2-1, and the same scoreline at Sporting Lisbon. Marseille also lost 1-0 at home to Atalanta in their last Champions League fixture. Marseille returned to action following the international break with a 5-1 win at Nice in League One on Friday, a result that took them above PSG at the top of the table until the Parisians defeated Le Havre 3-0 to resume pole position. The referee is Maurizio Mariana. He's a Rome-born official who refs in Serie A. He was recently demoted briefly to Serie B after a controversial performance in the Naples-Inter Milan match, awarding 2 dubious penalties. VAR is in action in the Champions League, of course. Marco Di Bello and Alejandra Di Paolo are in charge of VAR. If you're not at the game and you're in the UK, it is live on TV and it is on TNT Sports. Of course, they've just lost the contract for next year's Champions League. And if you go into the Toon, the Dog and Parrot, Freight, the Prince and Pumfries are all showing the match. You'll also find live coverage at Wonderbar in the Gate. If you want to listen to it old school on radio, then you can listen to it because it's live on Talk Sport. So plenty of options to see and listen to the game. So going to be interesting to see what the changes are. Magnus, I'm gonna start with you. Give you the opportunity to go first here. I would imagine he's going to go for a bit of squad rotation. He's going to have one eye on Everton. And what would you like to see? What do you think you'll see? And once you've given us your look ahead to the match, give us your prediction.
Yeah, Marseille. I think this is probably the toughest away fixture other than PSG, and they are doing all right. They have a great manager. Was it Mason Greenwood over there? I don't know how he's doing, but I think we're a better team, and we must be beaming with confidence after the last game. However, it did take a lot of effort, and I agree with you. There will be rotations. I mean, we definitely get Dan Burn in. I don't know if we're ever gonna change a goalkeeper for this tournament. I doubt it, but I am feeling optimistic, and have we got any news on William Osula? There is.
He's not available at this moment in time. He was seeing the specialist today as a precaution with regards to his injury, not because they feel that he needs an operation, but just to maintain that they are doing things correctly. So it's still a bit sketchy, still a bit shady on him. As for Johan Wissa, what Eddie said in his press conference at the weekend was that he is starting his pre-season now. So he's working with the sports scientists now. Denise had seen an interview with Johan Wissa, which I hadn't seen, which might have been when I was heading towards the match, but that it said he was striking a football. So I've yet to see that, and no one seems to have confirmed it in the media yet, but Denise saw it on Sky, I think she said. So that's positive. But he started his pre-season now, which would suggest, I'm afraid, that probably means at least another couple of weeks minimum before we see him back. I would say that the Sunderland game has to be a target for him to be at least involved on the bench. But that's the update on those two.
What a great first game that would be, man. That sounds like a great idea. Anyway, I am feeling optimistic. We've been ripping up trees in the Champions League. I mean, we'll probably see Botman and Byrne and some more rotations, probably Jacob Ramsey. I mean, we don't have much choices up top. However, probably Anthony Alanga will start. But Jacob Murphy deserves to start if he's fit. So, but I am feeling very optimistic. We are on a run. This is going to be a really good run coming up, and one game at a time still. And I am saying 0-4 to us. Let's start with that.
Crikey, 4-0. Okay. Pablo, I knew you were upset, Darren. Pablo.
I think, well, one thing that stands out to me is all the names that you mentioned, refereeing and on VAR. They seem very Italian, which is a worry for me. I think they'll favour the French rather than the English on that front. But I think Moz has just nailed it in the chat there. I think with one more victory, wherever that comes from, that'll probably be enough. Obviously, from my extensive football manager gaming, I think one more win would be enough, certainly, to get us in the playoff qualification stage of it. So I think Eddie, I'm hoping that he's thinking, like I'm going to tell you, I'm hoping he's thinking, let's assess the fitness of people that beat Man City, and those who are fit, let's keep it much of the same. Let's try and get that valuable 3 points, because Marseille, yes, they are decent. It's going to be a very vociferous crowd. You know, they're renowned for that. They're second in the league. You know, they're certainly no dummies, albeit the Champions League form's not been set in the world alight. They've got a few handy players. You know, I think Magnus mentioned Greenwood there. I actually think he's doing quite well, Magnus, to be fair. And obviously, I'm not his biggest fan, but as far as numbers-wise, I think he's doing well. I would like to think he would go with much the same unless needed. Whether he will or not, I have absolutely no clue, mate, what Eddie will do. But I was hoping that we would at least go for a positive result. A draw minimum, hopefully a win. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win.
2-1 win. Okay, well, that's what I've gone for. I've been confident that we'd win this Marseille game. I know Marseille need to win, but I've just had a feeling we would beat these this week. So, yeah, 2-1's my prediction as well. Kev?
Going into a very hostile environment, very good at home. Mason Greenwood, following on jumping off Pablo, he scored 10 goals this year. So he's their talisman, if you will. Because I just had a little look on it, a bit of a stat thing. So, if we can nullify a midfield and nullify their main threat, I don't really watch a lot of French football, so I haven't really got a clue. Control the environment, play the way we want to play. Again, who does he play? Again, what's the recovery of players like? Who's available? What type of style does Eddie want to play? Do we not sit in essentially, but do we play on counter-attacking type of football, or do we go gung ho and try and get a victory right from the off? That's up to him. He'll answer those questions tomorrow night. So we'll just have to see how it goes. But I think if we can quell the crowd, just be boring, essentially, stop their hostility, play the way we play, not make it like a Premier League game, but make it like a Premier League game in a sense. Again, it's just depending on who's there, the 11 players on the park who are going to have to execute all of that in what I've said from the above. So I'll go the 1-0 win. I'll sneak a 1-0, and that'll cement our place into the automatic qualification, I would believe.
Okay. Al-Walid.
Okay. It's hard to expect after you did a good one in last game. Unfortunately, I don't know why I think it's going to be 1-0 defeat because 2 reasons. First reason, I think we been exhausted against Man City and no much time to recover, I believe. And I don't think there's much choices for rotation. Second reason is it's a longer story, but to short it, that I think Marseille, the team, the players, the fans, I think they take it kind of personally, because since 2014 there was a rumor, and not rumor actually, it was really a plan to for businessman who's a prince to buy Marseille, and still people confused in France. They think that between this gentleman and the PIF, they want an investment. They want Saudi to invest because they want to defeat. They are angry from Paris and Qatar and these, etc., etc. So I think they will just want to challenge Newcastle. I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I expect.
Prediction, Al-Walid?
1-0 Marseille, unfortunately, yeah.
1-0 Marseille, okay. Jeff?
Well, Marseille, eh? Well, it's all very mafia-ish, isn't it? And people being thrown out of windows and throw in the league. But I don't think Marseille would throw it. And Eddie won't throw it. So it's down to the referees to how well they fix it. And in terms of what you do, well, it turns out it's been leaked on Truth Social that I've found out that what he's going to do is attack them. Right? That's what I would do. They're not used to having high press, long diagonal balls dropping in behind them. We're going to do to them what we do very well, which is attack, I think, because that's what they will not be expecting. And I think we'll go 3-0 quite easily. And I think there are lots of people we can bring in. Dan Burn will come back in. Who else? We've got Gordon to come back in. What's his face on the other side? There's plenty of players. That's it. Lots of players we haven't, who've been on the bench a bit and haven't played. Young Miley, he's available, I believe. Who's 19? I mean, that we people were muttering about, I don't know about our future in a few years' time, blah blah blah. Hang on, and there are other players coming through the system. Right, have some faith, boys. And it's going to be 3-0.
3-0, optimistic from Jeff. Alan, are you as optimistic?
Not quite, Steve, but
I didn't think you would be.
I agree with Magnus and Jeff. I think where I slightly disagree with Al-Walid in the fact that I think we've got a lot of changes to make, because this will test our squad. Because don't forget, lads, we've got about 10 games in the next 30 days. So we've got to rotate, and we've got to find out if these players are up to the mark. Like Miley, like Dan Burn and Botman at the back, I thoroughly expect at least 5 changes, lads, tomorrow night. I really do, because we've got to keep Tino and Lewis Hall and Cotton Wool, because they're so important for Saturday, in my opinion. I'll go with a 1-1 and hoping for the best, because if we get a win, lads, I think we're into the last 16 or last 24 anyway, and it'll give us a great chance of getting in the top 8, so we don't have to play extra games. So I'll go 1-1, lads, and I think we absolutely need to change it over, because don't forget, lads, as well, we've got Everton, and then 3 days later we were Tottenham at home, and then 4 days after that Burnley. So you have to rotate, lads. But going with 1-1, a lot more confidence than I did have only 48 hours ago, and hopefully the lads will bring it home, because it's going to be a very, very hostile atmosphere out there.
Yep, certainly will be. George?
Well, as you know, I'm the greedy little duck, and somebody said it. A win tomorrow night, and we're virtually through to the next round. It really, really would be colossal. So my inclination would be to put us, many of the people who played it on Saturday, into the side, and if we get a goal ahead or 2 goals ahead, then change it around. But I wouldn't surrender much to them. And somebody said about them not liking the press. Well, they don't. The French league is basically about 5 teams who kick hell out of the bottom 10. The bottom 10 are rubbish. The top half doesn't just have a good time. So half their week spent scoring goals against nobodies, and they think they can do it elsewhere. Well, we've just got to show them that they can't. Mason Greenwood's done, in my opinion, half of Eddie Howe's team talk, because he's been making his mouth go in the French press this week about how he doesn't like Newcastle, he doesn't like this, he doesn't like that. Champion, keep it at bunny, lad. We'll show you. So I would like to see what have a go at them, because I don't think they like that style of play. But yes, I do acknowledge the lads are right. We've got Everton and others to think about, but I think we've got the squad to do it there. I think we'll come away with 2-0. And my last comment is about Darren and Denise and Moss and all them that's going tomorrow. Enjoy yourselves, but for God's sake, stay safe. We need you. We need you back, all of you. So, but enjoy it, and envy you greatly. You're bringing back all the things I used to do when I was younger. But enjoy it and bring back a victory.
Well said,
Darren?
George. Well said.
Hello. Thank you, George. I plan to come back safe and sound. It's going to be a long day, a long 24 hours, I believe, but I'm looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to the ground. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. I want. The last Champions League game, we drew 1-1 against PSG, but still feels like it's a defeat. We could have got robbed in the last minute. So it's the worst penalty decision you'll ever see. So that still hurts us. So go out there and give another good performance. And I would play the strongest team if possible. I want to win. You win, you go. You more or less guarantee you through. And then if players get tired, that's what your subs are for. So I would play. If I can, I would play the same team. If you just, I wouldn't play. I wouldn't play Dan Burn left back. If Lewis Hall's fit, to play, you play Lewis Hall. You play Tino. And you play the South Centre Halls who played on Saturday. So go for the win. And if players are getting tired, yes, you got to think with Saturday. I can understand that. But I would play the same team. If he doesn't play the same, he may play a five at the back. He might rest Lewis Hall for Saturday. Because he's not much fit yet. He's getting there. So I want to win. I've had you 2-1, Steve, and if you don't come back, I've been killed.
We do. Are they Frankie Fraser's? We do need a win, and if we can win, it gives us a chance to then potentially rest players in the last couple of games. That will be what Eddie will go and do. Eddie will want to get 3 points. If he gets 3 points on the board, and you're virtually through to the next round, then he'll want to win every game, but he can then play those fringe players. It's finding a fine balance. That's what Eddie gets paid for, certainly. Quick, just a scoreline, guys. Not from you, George, because I will see you on Wednesday for your prediction. Just for Everton at the weekend, Darren. I know it's difficult because we've got to play Marseille first, but give us your prediction for Everton, Darren.
2-1 win.
2-1 win. Alan.
2-0 win.
2-0 win from Darren.
We've got to, Steve. We've got to start winning away.
We'll have Jeff.
3-0.
3-0. Our lead for Everton away. Prediction.
1-1.
1-1. Kevin.
Penman. 3-1. Win.
3-1. Pablo.
I would go 1-1. It's tough at Everton.
1-1. And Magnus for our debut in the Hill Dickinson Stadium.
I mean, it is the only one left is 0-1, so 1-0 to us.
1-0 to us. Great stuff. Tomorrow, back 2:00 with Talk of the Toon. Wednesday night is the Amigos at 5:00. Thursday, Super Matt and Gibbo. We've pre-recorded it today. And then Friday will potentially be live with me very early in the morning. Saturday is Three's a Crowd. Sunday is The Professionals. That's your show for this week. Take care, guys. See you later.
A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com.
contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to Low Cost Waste Disposal with Pay As You Go and Contract Waste Management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickies.co.uk, email info@mrvickies.co.uk, or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2 crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com, email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com, telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, a key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk.
And don't forget, we've got some events coming up. 23rd of January, nufcmatters.co.uk or Voucher is where to get your tickets for an evening with Super Mac and Gibbo. And Peter Beardsley and Joe Allen, both are fundraisers for Age UK North Tyneside Dementia. Don't forget as well, we have the promoter and the photographer book, 100% profit for the charity. Please go and buy a copy of that on the website, nufcmatters.co.uk. And don't forget as well, you can download the single, The Bladen Races by the Fallon Male Voice Choir. And that is 79p, all proceeds going to the charity. And we've got 10 of these beauties left. The Entertainers books signed by Warren Barton, again from the same website, nufcmatters.co.uk. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.